special assignment from one of these other agencies, or from another media outlet, or possibly another organization that wants some B-roll. Usually it's media outlets. Yeah. See what's going on. Texans are supposed to be here. See some people look like they might be rolled. See people. The country, people in the country, a lot of maggots. They're anti-data center. For the AI. AI is coming, and we're looking for water, for cooling for these massive supercomputer systems and networks, supercomputer systems, to make all that AI video that you keep watching. All those artificial. Is she from Mexico City? Yeah, all that AI actors and actresses that you're seeing on these commercials, on these feeds, are all causing environmental degradation, climate change, and loss of water resources to people's wells. In the rural areas, they don't usually have a municipal water system. Sometimes they'll have a county water system or a private water system, but a lot of it comes from well water. And when your well starts dropping in the summer, because there's an AI plant down the road, sucking the aquifer dry so that people can entertain themselves when the AI is not being given any real practical purpose, except for taking over your government, taking over your lawyers' offices. Yeah, look at that. Anyhow, they're always watching us. We're going to see what's going on here. It's just begun. It goes till 3, I believe. And I just got here. DPS is here. There are too many DPS. That's just a bureau right here. Hold on, I'll be back.
We need food. Where does food come from? It comes from farms. It comes from ranches. And they're at risk. The clean air impacted by diesel-powered backup generators or even worse, gas turbine-powered data centers will cause horrific pollution in our cities and our rural areas. We're in a constant state of drought. Even in suburban Round Rock, we have plenty of water for 9 data centers. It doesn't have enough water to let residents water their lawns more than twice a week. I find that interesting. That's a first world problem, watering your lawns versus watering your livestock. That needed by wildlife, but nonetheless, there seems to be a little conflict there. Data centers, whether they're using the apparently magical closed loop systems that are just the best thing since sliced bread, or more thirsty systems, most people can't hear it, but you feel it. where it comes from, that it can impact your sleep, your ability to concentrate, cognitive abilities. It has impacts on your cardiovascular system, including strokes and heart attacks. And it's becoming linked to miscarriages and our neurodivergent friends and neighbors, like people with autism or dementia or Alzheimer's disease, are even more drastically impacted. Noise ordinances that may be out there only deal with audible sound. They're made to deal with loud parties or things of that nature. They don't address that data center is coming to Old Settler Boulevard. After hours of polite, passionate, respectful, and fact-based public testimony by dozens of experts and regular everyday people, all 7 members of our city council voted unanimously to ignore the will of the people. In the process, they all revealed themselves to be nothing more than shills for a big corporation whose goal is to plunder our resources at our expense. Only 3 people spoke in favor of the proposal: a middle-aged couple living in Chandler Creek and an employee of Skybox. Our goal was to prevent an unmitigated disaster for our community. The council's unmistakable mission: to show every person assembled there, from young children to 80-year-olds, newcomers to longtime residents, that they, not their constituents, are in charge here. Last night, the mayor and council members put on a masterclass in bad government and bad governance. It's not just they're out of touch with the people they claim to represent. From the very start of the public hearing, our elected representatives were antagonistic, openly hostile, dismissive, and disrespectful to every single person who dared to oppose their will, those who dared to be present in their chambers. Worse, they turned what should have been a sober, reasonable hearing of concerns into a jarring, rules for thee but not for me, patronizing debate with citizen speakers. Time and time again, speakers having completed their testimony were then forced to endure a public face-off between them and various council members, city staff, the property owner, and snake oil salesman like Skybox executive. It was the most disgusting, demeaning display of power on steroids I have ever seen in my 5 decades of testifying in multiple governmental venues. Nearing the 11 o'clock hour, the motion was made and seconded to approve the data center the public did not want. The voting began with Councilmember Hilda Montgomery. In a highly theatrical, seemingly practiced moment, Montgomery paused and looked down upon the assembled crowd of people, her constituents, from her perch on the dais. Opponents of the data center subtly adjusted their seats to face her directly, silently raising, then softly waving yellow flowers that read, "Vote no data center." Montgomery took a deep breath and then responded yes. The other 6 votes came with the speed of a machine gun. So in this morning's light, the loss of a hard-fought battle is disappointing. However, it is shameful behavior by our elected officials that both saddens and enrages me. Their outright bullying of members of our community for daring to speak up, or inconveniencing them by delaying their predetermined vote, takes my breath away. But the courage, steely resolve, and unity of purpose our community demonstrated last night is what will continue to embolden us all. It'll take our tenacity, our perseverance to make an impact here. There's a lot that's driving the AI data center explosion in Texas, and it's going to take all of us to be persistent and stick with this and with the line. Thank you.
Production chemistry. He has fossil gas nuclear experience, extensive knowledge of environmental regulations, design and operations of power plants, and transmissions of electricity. He's here to provide accurate information to protect you and future generations of Texans.
The soil, the plants, the animals, to hold what you have and make it better. That's why I'm here today, is to make it better. We have to realize that our way of life is actually being threatened right now. Air quality, water, monetarily, health, you name it, so many different ways. And why is it being threatened right now? Well, the first thing is we have no legislation that can stop these guys. Let me just go back to square one. Why are they coming here? Why are the data centers coming here? Number one, we have some of the most cheapest electric rates in the nation. So low electricity costs. Number two, lax environmental regulations. It is also being pushed by special interest groups in both Washington, D.C. and by our state capital too. So we have lobbyists that are approached them every through. Well, I'm going to tell you, your local counties don't have any regulations. And that's what this special session needs to be about. Give us some teeth. Give us some teeth to arm our future generations against this onslaught. I'm here, I'm 71 years old. I could drop dead tomorrow. This is likely not to affect me, but I'm here for your kids and your grandkids. I want them to inherit land that has water and good water. I want them to inherit a state with good air quality. I want them to be able to afford electricity, which is another grab on this. And I don't want the bulldozing. I don't want around every corner to either see a power plant or a data center. I want them to have a good quality of life. And so we'll just get into some of this stuff. ERCOT is called the Electric Reliability Council of Texas. ERCOT right now barely has the power to supply you with power. ERCOT, since Uri, the ice cold storm we had about 5 years ago, where it went down to zero, almost the whole state, the state came within a hair's breadth of dropping offline. Well, since that has occurred, yeah, we've done some more winterization, but guess what? We built no base load utilities. What's a base load utility? That's natural gas. That's nuclear. That's fossil. That can run 24 hours a day, regardless if the wind doesn't blow and the sun doesn't shine. So the other part is the renewable sources have to be purchased first, and they're the lowest price. So it is also not inducing a company building a gas plant or a nuclear plant, because if the other cheapest power has to be bought first and they have to compete for that same power price, which is really low, guess what? They can't build anything. So right now you have data centers coming in here left and right, either wanting to build real cheap power plants. Now I'm going to tell you, combustion turbines were designed as a real quick on power plant. So you lose a unit over here, and electricity is something that you have to supply as needed, okay? So as one drops off, you have to bring something on really quick. Well, guess what? Combustion turbines were designed to do that. They were designed to be a real fast on plant. But I'm going to tell you guys, and it makes our power artificially high. When you can't get power in and out of the state of Texas, what happens? When power goes away, it's used for a data center, your prices start escalating. So how many of you guys saw your power go up during this 2 week, or this 2 week ago ice storm? Yeah, a lot of you did. And so that's the deal, is that when power becomes scarce, we're in a deregulated market, have been since the 90s. So as it goes away, guess what? Power costs go up because they're bidding into the system. So as power equals cost, there you go. It just escalates in price. Normal price on power, now you just think of this as a unit, is probably $23 to $27 a megawatt hour, okay? Just think of this as a unit. During that cold snap a couple of weeks ago, it was running along at $300 to $500 a megawatt hour before that, and it spiked at over $1,500 a megawatt hour. So think of that from 23 to up there. So when your power starts disappearing for data centers, what's going to happen to your residential power? The Electric Reliability Council of Texas just approved back December 10th a $34 billion transmission line 765 kV, which is 76,000 kilovolts or 7,600 kilovolts, compared to 345, which is the largest we've ever had before. 345 would always supply the state with power. Why do we need 765 now? Well, guess where the one is going from supposedly Glenrose area over west? It's going to supply data centers because they're massive power hogs. Massive power hogs. Now, who's going to pay this bill for these towers? We are. You are. That $34 billion is going to be allocated to you over a 5-year period, and you're going to end up paying another $115 a month just in transmission charges. That doesn't include the fuel charge or the electricity production. That's just getting it over the wire. So you're paying for the data centers right there. Now, I'm going to tell you, these people have some really slick lobbyists. Their way of coming in is to divide and conquer. They'll tell you anything to get in there, and they tell the individual commissioners or legislators all sorts of things. Once they're in, they're in. You see, it's like your dog. If you got a big Labrador retriever and he comes to the back door and sticks his head partway in, are you going to get him out? Chances not. He's going to blow right through that door. So that's the way this works. So anyhow, this is just a massive grab right now because of the cheap electricity, plentiful water, no regulations, and you can just come in and do it here. We have the can-do. We want the industrialization of Texas. So now we've talked about this. What are we going to do on the back end of this now? What do you do to stop this stuff? Well, first of all, you have something called online, Who Represents Me? Who represents me? Just search on that. That you plug your address in, that'll bring your legislators up. Write them letters, tell them what you think. Number 2 is there is power in numbers and noise. We're hoping not to get that A3. We're hoping rural areas to escape. All this rural areas to escape. All this garbage. When you move to a rural area and you have to put up with pollution like Fort Worth, Dallas, due to these industries moving in, and then you have to put up with the noise, the ugliness of the scenery around there, the depreciation of your property, all these different things. That's not what you moved there for, is it not? You moved there for the peace and comfort and quiet. When they come to rural areas, they can push their way through easier. That's the way they're looking at it. Now, what I want our representatives to start doing things right. It has to start somewhere. It started with me getting up here. I've been all over the place. I've been to Hood County. That's not my backyard. Servo County is, and Boston County. But guess what, guys? We all breathe the same air. We all drink the same water. So if you think it's not in your backyard, it is in your backyard. It is. So the thing you need to think about is go talk to your county commissioners. Tell them to stand up for you. Tell them to stand up. More of these counties, we've got 254 counties in Texas. A lot of them are being attacked right now. We had that ruling from Hood County with the senator that opposed, that said they would take it to the Attorney General. Hey, let them take it to the Attorney General. Tell every county in Texas, go tell your commissioners to oppose these plants. Hey, can the Attorney General take on 254 counties? I don't think so. You tell your representatives and the governor, we need a special session to get a lid on this stuff. We need a moratorium until then to stop this. And I want to say, not publicly want to say today, tomorrow morning or tomorrow afternoon, Hood County is supposed to vote on a moratorium again. I hope like heck this time, this is like the third or fourth go around with them, that they had the guts to stand up and do what their constituents want and put a moratorium on this until we can get some teeth in there. So, what I'm saying, I'm fearless on this stuff. And you see me, I am absolutely fearless. And my wife knows I am too. You guys be fearless. I'm giving you some ammunition now. It's just not me. You have.
Personally, I don't want to see Texas go blue. That's not my personal issue. But I'm voting for my conscience. I'm voting for my family. And I'm voting for people to listen. So, you know what? I want.
Make our representative worried.
Make them worry. Tell them you need them to listen to this. And get 5 more people with you because we've already all called. Okay, up next we have Clayton Tucker. He wears many hats, but today he's represented the Texas Farmers Union. He went to Southwestern University, has worked as a water researcher for the National Science Foundation, and is continuing to fight for the everyday working Texan.
Power prices went up. These people, as the gentleman mentioned, is all private equity. Do we trust private equity? No. So whatever they say, I mean, they're lying, is what it comes down to. But there's a couple other points. This is really a grave threat. The more I learn about data centers, the more concerned I become. You know, I'm probably one of the younger speakers today. I just turned 35 about a week ago. And I'm very concerned how this is going to affect my generation. And I'm not going to focus too much on the water and the power prices. We covered that. Other speakers did a phenomenal job of covering that. There's a couple other forms of inflation that's going to happen. First, these AI data centers are buying out all the computer parts. They're buying all the RAM. They're buying all the semiconductors. So these phones, these are about to double in price. Your computers, your tablets are about to double in price. The computers and tablets all small businesses use are about to double in price. For these small businesses that have very small profit margins, how do you think they're going to survive when their base equipment is now double the cost? They're not. This is going to start destroying small businesses. We're already lost too many as it is. It's going to hurt even worse. But there's really a more existential problem with these data centers. And this is really why I fundamentally have turned against them. And we have to stop them no matter what right now. So there was this engineer, data engineer. He was sending an email to one of his colleagues like, hey, I think we're going to shut down this data center to do some stuff. Well, the AI read that email. You know what the AI did? It scanned his emails, found an email he probably shouldn't have sent, and told him, if you shut me down, I'm going to blackmail you and release this email. AI is already blackmailing people. It gets a little worse though. There's these folks, they created a scenario with an AI. They convinced the AI that they're going to go inside its program, where its server room, and they were going to turn the temperature so low that it would shut down the computers. The AI tried to lock the person in there and turn it so low that it killed the worker. These AI systems are already blackmailing people. They are already trying to kill some workers. When the AI bubble forces Texas to build all of these data centers, and when that bubble bursts and we realize we don't need any of this, let's shut it down, what's it going to do to us? If it's already blackmailing people, if it's already trying to literally kill folks, what is it going to do to our state? There's also one other thing that AI is doing that I am gravely concerned about that I think needs to be outlawed nationally. It's working on something called reverse biology. Has anyone here heard of reverse biology and mirror biology? It makes nuclear weapons look tame. I'm not going to go into it. If you really want to learn about it, go to YouTube. YouTube videos are a lot better. But it's where they create a new type of pathogen, a new type of bacteria. One drop in the ocean, and that's it. No more fish, no more bacteria, no more birds, no more mammals, no more people. It makes nuclear weapons look tame. We are not ready for this. No country is ready for this. And I don't buy this, we have to build these things for national security. To me, that's like, we have 21,000 nukes, let's get a couple more. Like, that's just not logical thinking. That is not making us safe. It is making us in a worse position. And it's going to be my generation and the next generation that's going to pay the price. We have to stop we have to stop these big corporations. We have to stop these big corporations, these big interests, this Wall Street folks from going after us, what I call the greedy few. And that movement led to everything that we hold dear. It led to the fundamental fairness. It created the middle class that we enjoy today. The same middle class that these folks are trying to automate away. Let's just be real, that's their goal. They want to automate the middle class away. Texans have done this before. It's going to require Texans to do it again. I believe that we can do this. I know that we can. We have done it before. And if we stay together, if we stay the course, if we work together as city and country folks, as Democrats and Republicans, as farmers and non-farm and food eaters, if we work together, we can win. You can learn more at Texas Farmers Union. And if you want to find out what I'm up to, I can't necessarily say because I'm right here. ClaytonTuckerTX.com.
Thank you, Clayton. Next, we have Adrian Shelley with Public Citizen. He is a native Texan from the city of Houston. He is the director of Public Citizen's Texas office. He works on issues including clean energy, public health, and environmental enforcement, environmental justice, and ethics reform.
We need help protecting our communities. We are under attack from some of the world's largest companies, and we need help. Our legislature needs to act today with the urgency that this problem demands. So here we are. We've got a very simple message. Let's say it now. Help us or get out of the way. We've had elected officials who have already come to the defense of big tech, telling us that they know what's right for our communities, that they know what it means to be a good neighbor. They don't. We are here to tell them, if you're not going to help us, then get out of the way. We are Texans. We value our freedom and our independence. We know what's right for our communities, and it's not AI data centers. Thank you. We're calling for a special session. Right now, we are here to tell our lawmakers we need some simple regulations, some guardrails on this industry before it is too late. So thank you all for being here. Let's go inside and let's tell them. All right.
One more. We're going to call up T.A. Wilson. He's with the Stop the Waco Data Center. He has a master's in criminal justice. He grew up on a farm and a ranch and has a bachelor's from Sam Houston University and master's from Southwest Texas. And he's worked for all levels of criminal justice agencies, local, state, and federal, for loss prevention, safety and security, OSHA, and healthcare risk management and investigation and security. He has co-authored some publications on EEOC and on criminal justice topics. And he didn't want to share any of that with you, but he's going to come up anyway.
Acres of data. Guess who's behind that with $540 million? Same guy. Now guess what he wants to put up there? A nuclear power center to power the data. As soon as he started putting it up, he invested money, then got an IPO address, flipped it back over, got $16 billion off of the NASDAQ. Ain't that awesome? Now, not only is it a bubble, but it makes money fast. Is that what y'all want? Okay, the next question is, everybody says vote for somebody, vote for somebody. But who are you voting for? It may not be about red, it may not be about blue, and I don't mean to hurt your feelings, because I'm just me again, just talking off the cuff. But here's the deal. See who's paying those people and whose data center and big tech people donated to those campaigns. Just because you said you talked to them doesn't mean that they heard you, or did they hear the big tech and the super fuck and all those other folks, the lobbyist groups. It's your vote, and your vote. It's not those lobbyist groups and big tech and data centers vote. And I agree exactly with what he said over here. We need a coalition across the state of Texas and into the other states to stop the data centers. Now, somebody asked me, and she mentioned that I was from Waco. kind of right smack dab in the middle if you don't count Austin. They asked me how come I'm so passionate about the project. And somebody said, were you going to speak? I said, I've spoken at other water boards and things like that. Well, this is the reason. Up there where we're at, we got L2D2. That ain't R2D2. He's a good guy. Okay, we got L2D2 data center, and they call it the Waco one. But here's a cool fact. It's Lakeview City Council. I'm not saying the city, because there was only like 300 people voting in a 7,000 population city. So it ain't all of those folks. But that city council is driving the bus. And they want to go outside that, past an unincorporated area, over close to Ross, which is another city, to put their data center, not even in their own city. Now, does that seem a little odd to you? Yeah, that's a little crazy. So you got to ask the first question. How come is this little city that does not have a wastewater management, no water treatment, no nothing, and they buy their water from Waco, why are they going to get involved with it? If Waco's supplying the water, and they're going to redivert it up to this data center, what's in it for them? Why don't Waco just do it? Well, Waco's got regulations, permits, council meetings, all kinds of cool ordinances and things like that. Guess what Lacey Lakeview doesn't have? From behind the scenes. And I can tell you, I've stood up in front of that Lacey Lakeview City Council several times and argued about different things that went on. And I always got this talk first. Before the city council meeting for business and went into any kind of sessions or anything else. We, the people who are us, US, we, the people who are Texas, we deserve better. I did not get to talk. I was told, you talk to these meetings. That violates the law right here. And I'll tell you what happened and take it to the Attorney General office. They sent it back and they said, what's the civil? Well, it may be civil, but it also carries a Texas penal code violation too. So don't forget about that when you're trying to argue about these people. You want to talk for at least your 3 minutes, even if you're not on the agenda to talk forever. Okay? There are criminal offenses, and you need to turn that into the appropriate agency. Let them go ahead and figure it out, turn it into the DA. Because a lot of the language says, Texas elected people does not have a felony. Some of those are misdemeanors, but if you're a public figure, you're held to a higher standard, and it can be enhanced 1 degree higher to that felony. Therefore, that city council person may not be there the next time you see them. See what I'm saying? There are other things you can do. A lot of these lands that everybody's talking about, there's deed restrictions. They have to go back a while to find them up there at Sulphur Springs, they did. Not only did they find that, but they also found out that, and I'm going to say this coyly, some city official was sharing a room with an equity person. That gives a new meaning to being in the bed together. You see what I'm saying? So again, it's your voice over here. It's your voice over here calling for recession. It's your voice back there. But together, what? All of us need to talk. One voice, one mission, one statement. Let these guys know we're watching them and we know where the money's going and we're following everything. Not just how they're trying to say they're going to vote for us. Does that make sense? Because that data center didn't buy your vote, did it? She's sitting there shaking her head. No, it didn't buy your vote back there at the back with the cowboy hat, did it? No. You let them know your vote is not up for sale. So where I'm at, they want to bring this little data center from that little city, right? All the way down the old railroad tracks out through some fields, then bring the little water up there. 15 million gallons a day. Same thing you've heard from a lot of other folks. That's a lot of water. And of course, that city of Waco's on restrictions. Either you're this side of the street water, that side of the street. City of Waco people didn't even really know what's going on because it's out there in an EPJ for Waco. Waco has to release it. They're using an old farmer's tactic to get out of it. So then they turned around and they said, we're going to bring it through White Rock Creek. Some people may know where that's at. Some people may have to look it up on the map. My family farm that we've had since 1945, and the last time we had to deal with a problem like this, it was in Ellis County where a thing called Super Collider went in, and we talk about that a lot now, right? Okay, same kind of deal. So they want to bring this little pipe through White Rock Creek. He says, I said, how does that plan on working for you? He says, well, I said, stop right there, partner. It's not a natural waterway. It don't meet the definition. It's not high enough. Can't be navigated by a canoe all year long. And he said, well, who wouldn't want a water sewage line going through your property? want a water sewage line going through your property? I said, Beanie, I just told you. He says, well, somebody may want to put some houses on it. It just so happens this particular individual, I'm not going to say his name, his mom owns part of the creek the same as we do. And it looked like they were putting roads in, going to build that 7 houses. And he sits on the city council. So at the little place that I'm at, the judge is related to the nephew that's on the city council. Other people are the building inspectors and have relatives in zoning. It's an uphill fight. So you got to figure out more than one way to attack this problem. It takes all of it. Thank you. Okay. So one night I was up at the water board meeting and they said that he was going to speak and I heard about it. I said, well, they speak at 7 o'clock. So I got up there at 6:30. They had changed the time to 6. I did not know that. I'd been gone a long time doing other things, trying to save the world, doing everything. So I got there. I could not speak because my time had already gone by. I acknowledged that. So I politely brought up a little thing when the guy went to the bathroom. The attorney looked at me and I said, no, we're not in a session. Guy's gone to the bathroom. Water board president said, yeah. I said, remember when we were young kids? That's a long time ago. And I said, we broke a jar of pickles right across at that store right there where your dad owned. I said, your dad wanted to know the story. I said, my grandmother wanted to know the story. You're only hearing one story tonight. Can I speak next week? All right. I left. I'm outside. A little politician from the city of Lakeview approached me. He said, well, I want to tell you the plan. I said, no. I want to tell you the plan. No. I want to tell you the plan. I said, no. And he said, can I talk? I said, yeah. Well, the plan, I said, no. He goes, why are you stopping me? I said, the plan. You already told your own city council there was no plan. You told the county commissioners there's no plan. You told the Chamber of Commerce there's no plan. And then just not even 10 minutes ago, you told that water board district right there that there was no plan. Twice, there's no plan that you could show them. So, did you get the plan on your Apple Watch walking to your car or what? We'll go back to there and let's talk about the plan. Well, what's it going to do to shut you up? I'm a long-haired hippie country boy that grew up on a farm and ranch. And we still got that same farm and ranch since 1945, like I said. And they're trying to go right through the middle of that. So, I tried to be cool. I said, how many Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders do you know? He looked at me and he said, what? I said, never mind. The way you look, never mind. I said, I tell you what. I said, I want to say this. Some of my family gets along, some of them don't. True story. It's like anybody's family. We got 300 acres. We got several houses. I said, I heard South Fork was still for sale. He said, what? I said, South Fork. I said, I need South Fork, 5 years of taxes paid, and $5 million a year to walk around money because I need to look like I'm there. Might need a trim. He looks at me and goes, what? And I said, well, I want to know why you and the city manager are standing here talking to me, telling me that you got money to try to buy me out. And you told them that you ain't got no money at all in that meeting and to your city council. So are you representing the equity company now? And do their stockholders know that? The little guy left. He and the city manager. I'm saying I agree with the side that says no to data centers. I agree with the recession. I agree with the hold the line back here. And the most important thing is you folks, each one of you have a voice. Let them know, and you ask them who's supporting them. You guys voting for me or you voting for the data center that's paying y'all?
Political shenanigans.
It's backdoor deals and shenanigans. That's the word. I agree with that gentleman right there.
Thank you everyone for coming out today. Please continue fighting, continue working, holding people accountable. We are going to ask one more time. What do we want? When do we want it? Now!